Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Bull City Hangout. I'm Pat Murray. I publish the Durham Skyroger, that's Durham, North Carolina's online community paper. And with Bull City Hangout, basically, I tell you what's happening today in Durham, and then I invite you to join me on camera. I actually already have special guests waiting in the wings. I'll announce them in a second. But first, let me get through these announcements. And it's 12:02, so let me get started. So I always start with the school tools page, and that's because it is lunchtime, and those people who are in need, they're young people ages 18 and under, can get free breakfast and lunch, bagged breakfast and lunch from these schools I'm going to read off. Just to go to your nearest school, but then adults can get non-perishable food supplies and also um, casseroles. So let me get started. You have until 12:30 to get to Bethesda, Eno Valley, Githens, R.N. Harris, Hillside High School, Parkwood, or Sandy Ridge. And then you have until 1:30 to get to these schools: Burton, Lakeview, Shepherd, Southern High School, or Southwest Elementary. And then with today being Friday, there are extra schools that have jumped on to help. And so you have until 12:30 to get to Brogden, Eastway, Glenn, Holt, Y.E. Smith, or C.C. Spalding. And then you have until 1:30 to get to these extra schools: Club Boulevard, Hillendale, Holton, Kip, Durham, Marine Joy, or Lakewood Middle School. There you go. And then, as I've been telling you, Chicken Hut and Healthy Start Academy have this wonderful partnership where you can buy your lunch if you like at Chicken Hut. They'd appreciate it. But if you're in need, Healthy Start Academy, they're sitting right there in Chicken Hut, and they will give you a free boxed lunch for your kid. And this is for people in need, not just everybody. So you have until 2 o'clock for that one, but sometimes they run out at 1:30 or so. So get there early if you're really in need. Okay, now today is the last day to apply for this job opening that I've been telling you about. Durham Public Schools Foundation has a job opening for the Director of Community Schools and School Transformation. Here's what you'll be doing. You'll be developing and scaling strategic interventions and programming within a racial equity framework that will help accelerate the transformation of schools district-wide. So if you can do that, this is your last day to apply for that position, and you can get all the information on the school tools page. All righty, let me go to the word page. And of course, New Visions of Africa, as always, on weekdays, they will be giving away food, meals from 3 until 6 this afternoon. You must wear your mask. They will not serve you if you're not wearing a mask because it's such a small place that you will be in line kind of close, hopefully practicing social distancing, but you will be a little closer than comfortable with people waiting in line. So be sure to wear your mask. All right. Let's see. Also, on the word page, that's a nonprofit and governmental information page. APS of Durham, that's Animal Protection Society of Durham, they're able to give away dog and cat food and sometimes kitty litter. You apply online. The link is on the word page. And then if you're accepted, you can also let them know when you can go by there and pick it up. They're on East Club Boulevard. Okay, let's go to your health page. All righty, and there's one thing I wanted to mention. This is happening, let's see, where is it? Panel discussion. There it is. So this is happening tomorrow. I thought I'd tell you about it today anyhow, just in case you want to make plans. The National Pan-Hellenic Council of Durham and Orange Counties will be co-hosting something called Coping, Mental Health and COVID-19. It's going to be tomorrow from 1 until 2:30 online. Learn about how the anxiety affects you and your children, and just get your questions answered and just get lots of tips. So again, I'll be announcing this tomorrow as well when I do Bull City Hangout tomorrow. All righty, now let us rush over to the Senior Scope page. And basically, I just wanted to tell you to sign up if you're a senior age 55 and up. The Durham Center for Senior Life gives away meals, 5 meals per week. So try to call by at least 4 today and get added to the meal list. And then you can pick up 5 meals Monday at noon. You drive by the Durham Center for Senior Life, they come out to your car, and they give you 5 frozen meals. I think it's wonderful. So that information can be found on the Senior Scope page. And there is a meeting today from starting at 6 o'clock. Equality NC's next weekly discussion group meeting for LGBTQ elders that starts today at 6. Details can be found on the Senior Scope page. All righty, and let's go over to the garden shed. Let's see. Oh yeah, hummingbirds. Learn how to attract hummingbirds to your property or your porch. There's going to be something called the Journey North Hummingbird Chat with scientists. So this will be really fun. Join in the Citizen Science Adventure with the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences and the Prairie Ridge Eco Station. That's going to be today from 2 until 3. So be sure to check that out. Go to the Garden Shed page for information on that one. I think I have one more. It's a delightful radio show I've been listening to for a while. I had forgotten about it for a few years, and then I remembered The Weekend Gardener. It's really delightful. It's from, I think it's from 8 till 11 tomorrow morning. It's on WPTF, 680 AM. And it's just really, it's a cute show. I mean, 3 hours of talking about nothing but pest control, flowers, taking care of your lawn, et cetera, et cetera. So tune in. It's just fun. I'm just recommending that. And I think I have one more page. Oh, wait a minute. Let's go to the praise page real quick, because Judea Reform is up to something really interesting. Let's see. Okay, now this is happening. Oh, I almost forgot to mention. Right, Torah study is tomorrow starting at 9 o'clock, and the link, the Zoom link, is on the praise page. Right. So be sure to check that out. But also, I wanted to mention, where is it? Yes, a special Shabbat worship. So this is going to be tonight, 6 until 8, Judea Reformed Congregation. They're honoring the high school seniors. And not only will they have special worship as read by high school seniors, but also followed by a rock concert by Dan Nichols. So that should be really fun. So the first hour will be Shabbat worship and then followed by music, starting at 6 o'clock. The link can be found, of course, on the praise page of Durham Sky Rider. Last page, I don't want to make my guests wait for too long. I want them to fall asleep. But the Let's Go page, one thing to list here. Let me scroll down to 529. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and then I'm going to tell you about the farmers markets, right? 521. There it is. So Different Drum and Alex Weiss will be performing. That's going to be today, 2 until 3. And special hint, those are my specially invited guests. They're waiting in the wings. So we're going to do like a sound check, or at least a discussion on what's going to happen today. So you can enjoy a live performance of music and stories from around the world with Alex Weiss on trumpet and percussion and Leland Weiss on percussion. So we're going to welcome them in just a second. But I did also want to mention that farmers markets are tomorrow. Durham Farmers Market, which is downtown Durham Central Park, from 8 to noon. And by then, I think the thunderstorms will be over, so you should be safe to go. Then the South Durham Farmers Market, also from 8 until noon, if I'm not mistaken. Let me get that right. Pretty sure it's 8 until noon. Yes. And they're south, they're way south on Highway 55 and Sedgwick. All righty. On the weather report, it is 75 and rainy, going up to 82, thunderstorms later, and then tomorrow's going up to 84. So let's bring on our special guests. All right, welcome. Alex and Leland, how are you?
We're doing good.
All right.
That's good. So what's happening today at 2 o'clock?
Well, so since mid-March when everything closed, and we thought, well, let's do music on Facebook like a lot of musicians have been doing, and as we kind of talk what we can do, because our bass player we haven't seen in a while.
We haven't seen Brian in months.
Yeah.
We
Wow.
So what we can do is sort of share the music that works well with us two playing together, and then I thought a nice theme to share are some of the fun stories or meaningful stories from when we've traveled or visited my family that lives
Mhm.
abroad, and so we came up with the title.
Yeah.
What's the
Well, it's music and stories from around the world. But in these times, it seems particularly appealing now. All those things, all that travel, all those things we're able to do so easily. We can't do now. So
Yeah.
this travel and all the travel we've done, we've been traveling and doing things, playing music all over for 20 years.
Nice. Name some of the countries you've been to.
Huh?
Name some of the countries you've been to.
Well, Nepal, Taiwan, Belize, Colombia, Peru,
Honduras,
Honduras, Cuba 3 times,
Whoa.
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua. She's raised in Central America.
What else?
Awesome.
I think
That is
that's
cool.
it.
Well, Mexico several
Mexico.
times. Yeah.
We love Mexico.
Okay.
Basically, we've been traveling together and also individually for many years, and at this point I've played in every continent except Australia and the Antarctic.
Wow. Well, you've got to get to Australia somehow.
Yeah, maybe it takes a while to get over there.
I wonder, when you travel, are you able to take your instruments? Because those congas are pretty big.
No, I take bongos. So I've been very adaptable.
Oh.
You need to be adaptable, especially in traveling. And that's how I got to be a good bongo player, because every time I traveled, I took my bongos and flutes that I don't always play, and I just practiced.
Oh,
And
nice.
also when I got to Cuba, that's when I really absorbed. I became friends with a master bongo player, and I got invited into their band to perform whenever I'm there. And that really opened things, being around that and seeing how vital bongos can be. Yeah, you know, I just stuff my clothes and everything in the bongos, and my cornet gets stuffed with clothes, and everything goes on the plane.
Wow.
Under the seat
Is the cornet, is that tiny trumpet you have?
No, that. Sometimes I travel with that. But the cornet is a little bit bigger. It's again small. That's the cornet. So yeah.
I thought the difference between a cornet and a trumpet was that cornet didn't have those buttons.
That's a bugle. A bugle is a military that kind of stuff. But the cornet, the difference is the way it's wound. It's actually the same size, the same length of tubing as the trumpet, but it's wound tighter. And the tubing is connular, so it gradually broadens through the horn, and it has a darker or a broader sound. It's better on the lower end and not as bright and shiny on the top end as the trumpet, but it's the same range. It's basically the same instrument. Nice. And the pocket trumpet is also the same. It's just even wound even tighter and a little bit harder to blow.
Right? Like half.
It's over there sleeping in the corner.
Showing how small it was. Just compare it to your... Yeah, it's like half of it.
Both of them go in my backpack wrapped in clothing.
Nice. And if you don't mind, Leland, if you could tell us about what you do.
Well, let me answer the question of
in the health area.
Yeah.
If you want to promote that.
I've been an acupuncturist since 2005, and actually you, Pat, took like a photo shoot for me back then in 2006, and it was in the Durham Skyrider, and I've been continuing to do acupuncture. I've done the community acupuncture and run that, a sliding scale community acupuncture clinic.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't know you were still doing that. I need to start listing that on the health page again.
Well, so 3 years
when you
ago,
start up again.
I stopped just for 2 years of the last 15 years. And then 3 years ago, I picked it back up because I moved. And I had my own space for where I didn't have to set up and break down. But that's going to be on hold for now, the community acupuncture the way it was. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, so I know it was sad thinking of that, but you know, it's a step by step. So, and I've been helping people with Chinese herbal formulas who want to consult with that. And
Okay.
I have a lot of Spanish-speaking clients and community, so I've continued with that, and that kind of nourishes my heart to be able to help, by phone and by video.
So some people are interested in that, I'm sure. So how can they find you on Facebook or wherever you want people to connect with you?
So Armonia Health is the name of my practice. Armonia means harmony in Spanish.
Okay.
ARMONIA, health.com. That's our website. We have a Facebook page. And yeah, you can call the number listed on there.
Okay, I'm putting that in the show notes right now.
Okay, thank you.
I hope I spelled it right.
ARMONIA.
Okay, cool.
TH.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So cheer us up with some music. Were you able to hook that up for us and do like a little sound check, or what do you think?
Oh, so I don't think I figured out how to do a sound check, but I could see the levels going up and down on the mic.
I figured this would be the sound check.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me put on my...
So we play a variety of instruments, and they're all different, somewhat different volumes. I use my mute on the horn, but this is an alto recorder.
Ooh,
You could just call it a flute.
nice.
Rosewood alto. Leland's going to play a bass drum. We figured some of our arrangements are to make it work for a duo. To get, So Leland's going to be playing bass drum and maracas at the same time.
Wow.
And this is a song that comes from, it's a song by Inti Illimani. You would know them. Inti Illimani is a group, a Chilean group, but basically they do all kinds of music, but they focus a lot on Andean music. So this is a song in the style of the music of the Andes, which is the indigenous culture is the Incas.
Nice.
And I dedicate this song to all the indigenous cultures that are still struggling to maintain their lifestyle, their belief system, their land in the 21st century and what we call progress.
Very
Was
nice.
it
Thank
too
you for that.
close?
What was the balance like with the bass drum and the recorder?
To me, it sounded perfect.
It did?
Yeah,
Okay. And you could hear the maracas too.
perfectly. Sounded
So
really,
Alex
really
thinks I
good.
was too close to our mic right here.
Not at all.
With the bass.
I mean, well, one reason I wanted you to do this is that so you could later listen to it and judge how it sounds
Yeah, that's
for
what-
the
yeah.
future. Because there's other, I was suggesting, different ways that you could do your show. So, or your performance, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Thanks
You-
for
you're-
that
you're-
reminder. Yeah, because we're having a hard time knowing what it sounds like on our end.
Yeah.
how it sounds across on the other end.
Well, I'm wearing earbuds right now, and it sounded absolutely perfect. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
And that was actually, if I may say, the first time I've ever sounded recorder sound good, because that's usually the instrument, what I call of childhood, where a lot of people start learning how to play music on recorders. So I'm used to recorders actually not having a good tone. That's the first time I've heard a recorder sound really nice.
Thank you, and I'm part. I guess it's partly my mission. That's why I said you could call it a flute, because a lot of times when I say recorder, it automatically gives people that impression, and most people don't realize what you can do with a recorder because it's so often just used as an elementary school, instrument. But really, you could do anything with it that you can any other instrument.
Well, it's a beautiful sound. You said it's an alto?
This particular one is an alto, yeah.
Do they come in
I have
like
altos.
bass also? Like clarinets?
I have never. They might probably do. I have never seen a bass, but they definitely. I have a tenor. So
Ooh.
just like an orchestra where you would have a violin, a viola, a cello, a bass fiddle. Or congas back there where you'd have a quinto, a conga, a tumbadora.
Right.
So they're a family.
Right.
Like here's the three of them. The
Nice.
little sopranino.
Nice.
This is the common size that most students definitely play because they could reach the fingers. This is the soprano.
Nice.
And originally they were meant to be played all together. And this is originally music from the Renaissance and even right before the Renaissance. Each village had their own instrument maker and made these. And so it's of kind of European, probably England and Germany and Italy all had recorded. That's where they originated. Medieval times, probably.
Okay. And Leland, may I ask you what kind of drum that was?
Yeah, this is something that Alex had even before I knew him 20 years ago. So this is how he likes me to play this really big drum. What is it, Alex? Look.
It's a bass drum, basically. It's
Okay.
actually made in Pakistan. It's a double-headed bass drum.
Ooh. Oh.
And I've never seen it before or since. And it's like as Leon said, it's old.
It's almost like
But
a
it still
marching
plays.
band.
Yeah, it could be a marching. It's pretty
Marching band.
light.
Yeah.
It
And
was
we
so.
use-
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We use it like a lot of these are like all-purpose. So we'll use it in samba to doing samba rhythms. That was an Andean piece.
Like
We
a
use it
surdo.
sometimes for cumbia. It has depending on what we're doing. Bass drum.
Well, it was so big that I was wondering if you've ever seen I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, bodhran, the Irish drum?
Boron.
Boron, okay.
Boron. It's spelled funny, but boron is the Irish drum. It's a frame drum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that would be less unwieldy.
Yeah.
But
We found that this one seemed to sound good on virtually
Oh, okay.
compared to like or Junjun's.
the Dunans and the Kinkani, don't seem to come across as well.
Yeah.
Well, I think it might sound good on StreamYard because before we went on the air, you disabled the audio processing. And for musicians, that's supposed to really help make the sound less compressed, and
Right.
because music on like on Facebook usually sounds kind of bad, you know. I mean, if you're not lucky.
I appreciate your attention to detail.
Yeah.
And you're wanting to reach out and help us in this way.
Oh, well, my pleasure. I've been knowing you guys for I don't know how many years.
Ever since you moved here.
Yeah.
I remember when you were taking care of your aunt.
That's why I came here. So your show starts at 2,
Yep.
and hopefully you'll be able to be joined by your bass player one of these days.
Yeah, next month.
We already have July 19th. We're going to be a trio again, and perform.
And I felt it was a good weekend because it's Father's Day weekend, and
Oh, nice. Okay.
I was like, yeah, we got Alex and Brian and two fathers, and I don't know, just thought it was a good date. So it'll be another Friday, and
Nice.
and
It'll be a reunion for different drum.
yeah.
Nice.
Well, we're sharing this afternoon some of the other virtual opportunities to get to know our music, because we've been doing some more meditative music that Alex does and I lead the meditations and the Qigong movements. Yeah, so we'll share those well, we've been sharing those on Facebook, and we'll share
On the
them
different
live.
drum page?
We haven't figured that out, but it's called Tones for Your Bones.
Oh, Tones for Your Bones.
And there
Let me
is a
write that
Tones
down.
for Your Bones page.
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
Facebook page called Tones for Your Bones, and so I share about Chinese philosophy and the Chinese 5 elements, and we set it to live music that he has put together.
Composes and arranges.
Yeah,
Nice.
so we'll do a little bit of that this afternoon on the
Okay.
Facebook Live.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So I guess we can leave now, but I did want to give you the chance to do this so that you can objectively listen and watch it later and compare it to what you've been doing, so you can choose the right platform for your music.
Yeah.
Because with StreamYard, obviously we're on StreamYard now, and it's broadcasting to my Durham Skywriter Facebook page, and then also the Patricia A. Murray YouTube channel at the same time.
Yeah, this was pretty easy. I have to say.
Very easy.
Wasn't too- Yeah.
It's I'm not real technical, but the way it's explained to me is that because you haven't downloaded a program, or rather I haven't downloaded a program, the browser is doing all the work, all the heavy lifting, so that it leaves my computer enough space to, I don't know the words. It just doesn't encumber your computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I know. We're all learning. So
Yeah, I know I am.
appreciate the feedback.
Well, thanks again, Alex and Leland. I'm going to tune in at 2 o'clock on the
Cool.
Different Drum Facebook page, right?
You
For
should,
today's
you know, if anyone wants to hear my music, there's quite a variety of both of our live videos, performances, and original compositions on my website, which is www.silentdaysmusic,
Okay.
silentdaysmusic.com.
Let me type that out.
You have to you have to spell out days.
Yeah, that's right. Silent is like silent.
Mhm.
Days is DAYZE. It's a combination of the two different ways of spelling days.
Okay. And so silentdaysmusic.com?
Yeah.
So let me type that out. Okay.
You mean
Very good.
day and then days.
Yeah, like days. Well, I think of days as another way of, like, not quite in this world, but partially in this world and partially in another world.
Right, days.
Ooh, okay, that's interesting.
I know
Like-
people.
I think people in Australia, they say that the waking world is, the dreaming world is the real
Dream time
world.
is,
Time
yeah,
is is the reality.
Yeah,
that's right.
that's pretty
Maybe I
wild.
should go to. Maybe I'm in the wrong place, wrong side.
I think you would like Australia a lot. I mean, I've watched some Australian TV shows. It looks like a really fascinating place, unless, of course, you're scared of bugs. Their bugs are huge.
There's attention deficit, and when I think of there's Australia, but there's so many places before Australia that just attract my attention, and that's where I end up going.
If I were rich, I would go to so many places.
But
I'm not kidding.
We do it. We select and we do it kind of simply, you know.
Mm-hmm.
In some of the places, we have friends in Colombia, in Peru, in Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
But it does require a lot of resources. Yeah.
And being flexible, being able to sleep on a train or overnight somewhere or camp out in the woods. Or,
mm-hmm. Well, that means you have to take a lot of stuff with you, like sleeping bags and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't do that. I can't sleep.
We haven't done it that. We haven't taken sleeping
We'd
bags.
stay with friends, and I'm kind of meticulous of knowing where we're staying. And these days, online, you could, like Airbnb is really great for checking out places to stay.
Yeah, I think in my early days, I was more like adventurous. I used to travel with the sleeper way back. I hitchhiked around this country for years. I went through every state in the country. Yeah, 2 or 3 years of really intense. But that was in the 70s. Now I say I'm a rehabilitated hitchhiker.
Wow.
So we do Airbnbs and other.
Well, I've watched videos by adventurous travelers who are on an extreme budget. And I've seen people who have actually slept in, this is like an Airbnb thing, like vehicles, boats.
Oh, yeah.
Just,
There's couch surfing, I believe. People do couch surfing. I think you get to sleep for free on someone's couch. And then they show you around, the place. And
I hope they're vetted carefully. You don't want to sleep on the couch of like an ex-murderer or something.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
But it's nice that there's all this variety, and that doesn't exist in everywhere. Mm-hmm. But there's the variety. You can choose what level, and sometimes we've done roughing it to some point and then get a nice room. And then, you could choose whatever. And there are countries that are great for that, like Peru. Peru you can travel really well, really good, infrastructure, relatively safe and clean and, or whatever. And so you could choose how you want to travel. You could hike it, or you could take a bus, or you could take a plane.
Well, we tend to cook. I tend to cook on the trips to save money.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah.
And shopping in the marketplaces are fun. Marketplaces are all around the world. A marketplace is a marketplace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I hope you get to share your travels with us as well. I don't know if you've done videos or.
We had that idea. At one point, I told him that we have a Peruvian musician friend. I said him and Michelle should travel.
He's a videographer.
He's a videographer.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with.
What I'm starting to do is just incorporate stories in before the songs. A lot of the songs came about in different places and stories that lead up to the song, and explain how I learned recorders, for instance, as a song in my early days and things like that. So the stories are weaving their way in kind of around and in between the music, or setting up the music.
I think a lot of musicians don't realize the value of the stories. When I was a kid, I went to a music camp, and I'll never forget the story behind one of my favorite pieces of all time, the Surprise Symphony. And basically, it was explained to me, or us, kids, that I can't remember who the composer of the Surprise Symphony was. But anyway, he was unsuccessful as a composer. His music was deemed dull. And he got tired of the audience falling asleep at his concerts. So he wrote the Surprise Symphony, and it's like a dream song for a kid, because kids are used to not being listened to, right? We could relate to that. So basically, the song was real delicate, cute little melody, dun, 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 and then the orchestra goes pow, and it's one of my favorites of all time. Not because the music is fun, and it is super fun, but the story behind it. I really related to it as a kid, and as an adult, I just have a soft spot in my heart for it. So I think more musicians need to tell the stories behind the music.
I think
Yeah.
part of it is as you get older, you know, your perspective gets changes and you start seeing how things fit together. I have a story about how I learned to record. I basically have a story around all the instruments or where I was when I composed. But as you get older, you see, like at the time I learned to record her, I didn't know what I was doing. I was living, my girlfriend had thrown me out. I was living in this little town on the outskirts of Portland, Oregon, in the Columbia River Gorge, at the base of the Cascade Mountains. And all I had was a dishwashing job in the graveyard shift in a truck stop. So in the day I roamed the fields and I knew how to read music from playing horn. And that's how I went down into Portland and I looked at some music and I didn't know. I said, I could read it. And I said, this looks good. I was reading Mozart and Bach. And I took it home and naively just like had the fingering chart and just taught myself playing Mozart and Bach.
Wow.
But I had the time and but who knew at that point that I would end up a recorder player?
Huh.
You know, it's like later you get the perspective of, wow, you know, how things come together. And that's what makes you, I think, as you get older, able to put it together and share that perspective. You know?
Well, I keep coaching you to do that. So, I mean, I tell them that what we can do too musically, it doesn't quite sound like most, you know, music out there. You know, we don't sing, we don't play guitar. I don't play piano anymore, and so part of, you know, what we can share is us and what we
and it comes through.
Yeah. So.
And we'll get to see more of that from 2 until 3 on Facebook. Go to the Different Drum and Alex Weiss page.
Thank you for having us, Pat. You're wonderful.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, thank
Keep
you.
doing what you do.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to try to.
In the community.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And you have a great day and a great concert. I will see you at 2.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
care. That was awesome. So be sure to go at 2 o'clock on Facebook, Different Drum and Alex Weiss page, and watch Alex and Leland play some beautiful music. So you have a great day. It's going to rain. It's supposed to be raining now, but it's not. I guess it'll rain later developing into thunderstorms. We'll see. And then tomorrow's going to be, 84? And that's perfect for me. So have a great day, great evening. I'll see you tomorrow at noon. Ciao for now.